here. Thanks for coming to our commission night out, and I'm calling the meeting to order. And we like to start our meetings with a moment of silence. Please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. City Clerk, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Perdue.
Present. Good evening, everyone.
Commissioner Kilgore.
Present.
Commissioner Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Present.
Commissioner Asasi.
Present.
Commissioner Belcheck.
Here.
Mayor LeGrand.
Present. Thank you. For those of you who come downtown, we're slightly shifted our format here, which is to say, downtown there are 2 times for public comments, but at our commission night outs we do 1 time for public comment at the beginning of the meeting, and so that's the time now. So if you have questions about the protocol, they're on the front of the agenda, and I believe they're up on the screen. But that means now is your time to come up and talk about anything under the sun and anything on the agenda. And please address the commission and give us your name and where you live.
Interpreter.
Oh, and I'm sorry, if the interpreter could come up while we're getting ready and identify herself. We have an interpreter into the Spanish language only, and here she is.
Alrighty, good afternoon, buenas tardes. A diferencia de la reunión que se hace en la ciudad, en downtown, solamente tenemos una oportunidad para comentarios públicos y esto es ahora en la primera sesión. Así que si está listo, por favor, déjeme saber, con gusto le puedo hacer la interpretación. Thank you.
Thank you.
How y'all doing? I'm D. Jones, passionate entrepreneur and visionary. Just gonna be speaking to you guys about some future stuff. So a couple days ago, I was on TV before me and the city's partnership ended, and I did this TV interview. So I was on Fox and stuff like that, and made it on Yahoo. Then a day later, the city hit me up about this incident and stuff like that. But I wanted to just tell you how karma works. So there's a streaming platform called Party. I remember Mayor LeGrand, he was like, well, D, you should think about other things other than crypto. So this is my response to you, David. So I was speaking about that platform, and I was actually on TV on Fox 17 speaking about the COO that handled those several trillion dollar portfolios. And so, as you guys can see, the first handout I sent you, I was streaming on this platform. I had 224 people watching me play Fortnite. And then the next picture, I had state legislator Christian Grant, who also passed the legislation, who drafted the legislation for the land bank. I had her at the Save a Life a Day outreach, which you guys gave a contract. 135 people watched that. Then if you look at the third one, the actual streaming platform Party, which that COO handled those trillion-dollar portfolios, they posted me on X. I got 50,000 views in one day. So then the last handout that I gave you is the regional finals at the DeVos place. We're actually just one day from locking in the contract, which I actually am going to be helping bring colleges and universities and high schools all across the United States to the DeVos place in Ballroom C. This is going to be very, very powerful. I also know that Pete Buttigieg is going to be here in October. I got the invite from the state Democratic Party. I'll be there before Pete because I don't think that Pete has the best vision. And that's on my side of town. D. Jones is the best, and I have the best vision for the city. I've helped kids get scholarships at Ottawa Hills High School. 9 students, even Val Victoria is on a full ride because of me. So you guys know where I'm going with this. I'm going to be a trillionaire one day from cryptocurrency, David. Me just streaming I was actually streaming earlier at City Hall where you guys were legislating and doing your work. I was streaming Fortnite and I was live, and I actually earned something called Party Points, which can be converted into cryptocurrency. So, David, I'm going to make you have to stand on your business a little bit higher in the upper your echelon. Also, I have the Rockefeller cars, the actual Rockefeller, the Global Family Office. This is the card from the actual Rockefeller family that helped shape the United States government, the U.S. government. John D. Rockefeller's birthday is July 8th. My birthday is July 10th. It's something in the spirit of a cancer. It's just something about those cancers. But I'm just here to let you guys know I'm going to be a billionaire, trillionaire. I'm going to give back to my community, and I'm going to be rich off of streaming. And the funds that I get from streaming, I'll be giving it back to the community. Thank you.
Hello, y'all, I'm Kamadi Long, captain of the 2K team down at Texas Southern University. I just wanted to let y'all know a couple things I've been doing this summer. So, start the summer, I came and told y'all that I'd be giving back to the city and doing things like that. So, I was able to, visit the juvenile, talk to some of the juvenile kids, and try to change their life. Because I know growing up in Grand Rapids, I'm a product of GRPS. I really didn't see nobody come back and talk to us, or I didn't see nobody that was necessarily in rooms with, 7-time platinum recording artist Chief Keef, his actual Esports company, reached out to me about internships, and I actually got to speak to him, and, we got to bring him. Thanks to my cousin D. Jones, he brought the resources to me, and I just put my face in front of it. So, I was able to speak to some kids and actually, reach and connect with them because I'm a product of what they come from. I'm a product of what they see every day. So, as a person, I got dreads, everything. I match the part of what everybody calls a YN now. But, I just tell everybody, like, it's a lot of hope in this city. Like, the kids, they got hope. When they see us, they see me and D. Jones, they see us coming through the community and stuff like that, and they see that we on the news, and, we on these party platforms, and, just seeing us branch deals and do everything like that. It's actually inspirational, because, like, we don't have that here. We don't have that escape route for the kids. I had to go to Texas and get that. So I didn't start playing esports until I got to Texas. And necessarily when I got to Texas, I ended up getting into college. And right now, as we speak, we're trying to ink this deal with Party, the platform Party. Y'all heard my cousin speaking about, I was streaming on there yesterday. Actually had 320 views. You know what I'm saying? Just a light stream, but, humble flex. But, I just say, like, D. Jones is doing a lot of great stuff for the community. He's bringing a lot of resources, a lot of things, and just necessarily making life better. Just me being his cousin, just me being, a student of the game, he necessarily taught a lot of things to his community, gave back to a lot of things, and just people in the community and in general. So, and then I'll tell y'all, like, I'll leave it to my last thing, but I'm going to leave something big right here, because I'm going back to Texas in about 2-3 weeks. So I'll be back in Texas, back in Houston, back in school, continuing to aspire and being a content creator and being an inspiration to these kids. But right now, I'm on the verge of inking a deal between my school and the Party platform, necessarily just trying to bring equity to our organization and things like that. And we're working on the deal now, so y'all be on the lookout for it. Y'all just seen they posted us, and we had 50,000 views in one day. So just imagine what we could do, if we here for more than 2 days, 3 days. But thank y'all so much.
Please don't clap, folks.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Nathan Biller. I'm a small infill developer building housing here in Grand Rapids. I came before you guys in March with 4 small zoning tweaks that could significantly boost our ability to address the housing shortage in Grand Rapids. Unfortunately, nothing appears to have come from that request, so today I'm narrowing my request to the simplest, most impactful change. Consider lowering the minimum lot area per unit from 2,000 square feet to 1,000 square feet. TN-LDR districts require 2,000 square feet of lot area per unit. Planning staff have acknowledged that this standard is likely outdated. And while I understand the desire to bundle changes into the 2027 zoning rewrite, waiting 2 more years for something this obvious comes at a really big cost. Since my last appearance 127 days before, our housing deficit has grown by 1,397 homes. That's because we need to be building 12 new homes per day and are only averaging about 1. Waiting 2 more years will increase that gap by over 8,000 additional homes. But what if we could make twice as much progress as we are now? You've heard that NPR fundraising pitch before. Every dollar you give today will be doubled by a generous sponsor. Well, this is our matching moment. Act now and the benefits multiply. It's Christmas in July. Just last month, Commissioner Perdue visited my newly built ADU on MLK, 2 blocks away from here, a Link residential street where the City Commission of last year allowed 6 units to be built by right. But my 5,456 square feet lot only legally supports 2 units under the current 2,000 square foot minimum. That's why I built an ADU in the back. But here's the thing, I wanted to build 4 two-bedroom units instead of 2 4-bedroom units. Same number of bedrooms, likely the same number of people, but twice the units. One is legal, the other isn't. That's not good policy. I just got my permit for another duplex, also on MLK. It was just issued this week. That duplex will have 5 bedrooms in both of the units up front and another ADU in back, because the zoning code forces me to build bigger, not smarter. Meanwhile, household sizes are shrinking, and the market is practically begging me to build smaller units. I want to do that. I want to build affordable units, but our zoning code is stopping me. The city charter provides 3 ways to initiate a zoning text amendment. The City Commission can request one from the Planning Commission, the Planning Commission can initiate one itself, and anyone can apply for a mere $5,244. So today I'm asking, please don't make me pay $5,244 to fix a policy everyone already agrees is outdated. You, all 8 of you sitting behind the dais, have the authority to act. The studies that you've commissioned have proven what we already know, and I'm offering you an easy, costless solution. Without action, I'll keep building houses that are too large and too expensive for the needs of our city. But with one simple change, I could build twice the number of units for half the rent, all without taxpayer subsidy. That's naturally affordable housing, that's good planning, that's something that we can do now. Mr. Washington, would you please consider adding this topic to an upcoming agenda? Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening, folks. My name is Mitchell Nelson. I'm the Michigan State Director with Humane World for Animals, formerly the Humane Society of the United States. I also just moved into a house in Creston with my wife and 1-year-old daughter, and we're loving it and very happy to be in this city. So I'm here today to ask the Commission to introduce and adopt an ordinance referred to as a Humane Pet Shop Ordinance. What that would do is effectively ban the sale of cats and dogs at pet stores here in Grand Rapids. This has been done in 8 states and over 500 municipalities across the country already, including a dozen here in Michigan, such as Detroit and Ann Arbor. Now, what this would do is deal with the crisis of puppy mills. And for folks who don't know what that is, let me zoom out a little bit. A puppy mill is a large-scale breeding operation that they are all over the country, and essentially what they do is instead of selling their dogs directly to consumers, they go through a pet store. And there's one such here in Grand Rapids. It touches communities all over the country, including in Michigan. There is one here in Grand Rapids that unfortunately is much the same in terms of where it's sourcing its animals from, as well as some of the lending practices and that sort of thing. And what we see in these operations is that they are largely unregulated, unsanitary, inhumane. And it's a problem that the public doesn't know much about, have a lot of exposure to, and frankly, it thrives and proliferates based on these pet stores and a very innocuous sort of relationship that they have with consumers who I think are very well-intentioned, looking for a dog for their family, that sort of thing, and aren't aware of where these dogs are coming from, the circumstances under which they arrive to be for sale in that situation. And so I have some folders here for you that go into detail with a lot of the science and the research and all of that. But what you will find that the most disheartening part are the testaments from consumers who have gone through this specific store in Grand Rapids, and it's what we see all over the place. I bought a dog a month ago. All of a sudden, it's racked up thousands of dollars in vet care because they're coming from situations, again, that are unregulated, unsanitary, inhumane, and they're not accounting for these kind of situations that are going to be passed on to the consumer at the end of the day. So it's an issue of cruelty prevention as much as it is consumer protection. And again, we've done this in Michigan before. The idea is not to be punitive and punish that business that's operating the way they are now. We would obviously want to work with them to transition into a situation where their main source of revenue are not the animals that they're selling. But much like other stores in this multi-billion-dollar industry, they thrive on goods and services. We have too many animals, and everybody in this building knows that our shelters are overflowing. It's true everywhere in the country. There are too many animals out there for us to be going to places like this that do not reflect well on this city, on this community, and really on our common values and common sense. So thank you very much, and I'll hand these to the clerk to distribute.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Josh Ferguson. I'm a resident of the Second Ward, and I just first of all want to thank you guys for hosting these in-community engagements. I would love to see more of them. I look forward to the next one that's going to be in my home ward, and I also want to thank those of you, the 7 of you who have run for office in front of me. Public services can be commended, and even when those of us have frustrations with government, I think it's really important that we commend you guys for engaging in these issues and taking the time out of, you guys have other jobs and other lives. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to represent us. However, that sentiment is not necessarily, doesn't seem to be reflected in all parts of city government. Recently, the Grand Rapids Police Department has repeatedly pursued a tactic of charging activists engaged in protests with nuisance violations who are engaging in peaceful protest. This legal harassment has a chilling effect on anyone who is wanting to engage in peaceful assembly. These charges fall on activists who have protested for sanctuary status here in the city of Grand Rapids. They have fallen on those protesting against police brutality, including the murder of Patrick Loyola, and has fallen on, most recently, on neighborhood community leaders who have worked for years to bring the community together. And at the time, we're filming an engagement with, between the GRPD and another community member. Each of these causes has merit on their own and should be considered by the City Commission. But when members of the public drew attention to these charges and these events, the chief of the police of Grand Rapids told the public to comply, then complain. And that is does not show trust on behalf of the police department towards the citizens of Grand Rapids. It doesn't show respect towards the citizens of Grand Rapids, and it doesn't show the civility that we've come to expect out of folks from West Michigan. It is certainly, within the right of the GRP to throw the book at activists, but activism is to be commended and is generally not compliant. So there are better uses of the city's resources than some poor lawyer throwing the book at activists. I encourage you guys to work to convince the GRPD to drop the charges against these activists.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Hickox, and we are here in support of COSECHA. We are going to list the following demands that COSECHA is asking the City of Grand Rapids to adopt regarding sanctuary policies.
My name is Susan Haynes. Number 1, policies restricting the ability of state and local police to make arrests for federal immigration violations or to detain individuals on civil immigration warrants. 2, policies restricting the police or other city workers from asking about immigration status. 3, policies prohibiting 287G agreements through which ICE deputizes local law enforcement officers to enforce federal immigration law. 4, policies that prevent local governments from entering into a contract with the federal government to hold immigrants in detention. 5, policies preventing immigration detention centers in Grand Rapids. 6, a policy that will not allow the GRPD to share flock camera images with ICE or any other law enforcement agency seeking to arrest, detain, and deport immigrants. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is John Haynes, and I stand before you today as a member of this community, one proud of its diversity, compassion, and commitment to justice. I'm here to ask you to adopt the sanctuary city policies just detailed that protect our immigrant neighbors, families who contribute to our schools, small businesses, and neighborhoods every day. These policies are not about politics. They are about values and human rights. They ensure that our local government does not participate in the fear and separation driven by a cruel and unjust federal system. Right now, too many in our city live in fear. Fear of being torn from their families, fear of calling 911, fear of going to get food. That fear doesn't belong in Grand Rapids and makes us all less safe. This is a moral moment, so I ask you to adopt sanctuary policies and be a city that says, you are safe here, you belong here, and we will stand with you. Thank you.
Please, folks, refrain from applause.
Hi, my name is Kathy Siegenthaler. I'm a resident of Grand Rapids, and I'm here also to support the sanctuary policies. I am a clinical social worker working for Arbor Circle at Burton Elementary, and I'd say 90% of the families I work with are experiencing the fear of every day. And I have, in the past, for many years, actually worked with them to feel safe around the police of Grand Rapids. And I've experienced some very positive experiences when things have happened when their parent was stopped. And they were, in fact, one of my students was able to say to the police, she's here, she's just here because she wants the best life for us, blah, blah, blah. She made an argument and they listened to that. Recently, it's not been that case. They're seeing the police and identifying, associating them with ICE. And one of the parents, the kids were just saying to me today, you know, all my parents tell us is that they came for a better life, for food, for housing, education. And now we don't know. We just don't feel safe. I know the arguments are that sanctuary policies might make it less safe for people or or threat to the funding that we could get. But I don't know what to really say to that, except it doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's much unsafe without having the policies. Recently, I heard that Chicago stood up for their sanctuary policies, but with a federal district judge, and the governor supported that. And I'm seeing that kind of feeling expressed within our families and with people, and that we need to keep working for them to feel safe. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kyle Thornton. I live in the 49504 zip code. I'm an educator for 7 through 12. I personally have seen reduced participation from immigrant populations, i.e. much higher rates of absenteeism, due partly to the terror inflicted by ICE during this administration. I have students skipping their SATs for fear of interception by ICE. I believe we should be separating ourselves from federal ICE operations for the following reasons. First, according to the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, we are not required to enforce federal immigration laws with local law enforcement. We have seen how large and small-scale ICE operations are causing instability in other cities. Second, ICE officers are not identifying themselves, not presenting warrants, and not following due process. And additionally, they're being overtly hostile. The backing of local police erodes trust in local law enforcement. The agency has seen a 10 times increase in funding recently, and one can easily see a scenario where ICE escalates their anti-constitutional behavior. We have the opportunity to be on the right side of history as a city. Third, up to 11% of our city's population are immigrants. This means that a large portion of our city are under threat from this administration's unconstitutional enforcement of the federal law to address a crisis that is not supported by crime data. I would be pleased if we made the move to be a sanctuary city, but I could settle for a pledge that the local law enforcement does not aid, assist, or support ICE operations in any material way, such as calling ICE when making arrests of immigrants or calling ICE when making criminal or civil arrests. I also request the airport end its relationship with Avela Airlines due to the transport of people without due process at the behest of the Trump administration. Thank you for your time today. I hope you consider my positions and the city remains peaceful to all its residents. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sharon Smith. I live in the Roosevelt Park neighborhood that is 70% Hispanic. We are seeing a real increase in ICE activity. And if our police are not seeing it, that's because they're not being present. We're seeing their tactics following what we're seeing in larger cities. They're snatching people off the street. They're saying, I don't care about your green card. They're taking people on their way to work. We're seeing all this firsthand, and as others have said, our neighbors are terrified. They're not shopping, they're not getting food. ICE is being secretive and trying to hide their activities. And our immigrant-owned businesses are suffering. ICE is targeting Black and brown people, regardless of citizenship, and that makes all people of color at risk. It puts our city at risk and makes it unsafe for everyone. Last week, I was arrested for civil disobedience in trying to protect my neighbors, and we believe it was ICE who called the GRPD because I was blocking them from doing their job. I understand being arrested for civil disobedience. However, I do not understand how GRPD is complicit with ICE. I know you have a policy in place, but there is a clause that lets them out of that and allows them to work with ICE. In response to being arrested, I've had hundreds of people that live in Grand Rapids reach out to me in support of my actions. So I expect that you're going to see more people on the streets. You're going to see more people in support of Cosecha and our immigrant neighbors. GRPD is not protecting them. They're turning a blind eye to ICE and bounty hunters who see them only as dollar signs. We have seen this in our country already. It is terrifying. When GRPD does not protect our neighbors, they are complicit with ICE, and when you don't make policies that prevent them, that makes you complicit. So I urge you to do the right thing and protect our neighbors and our city.
Hello, my name is Brian, and I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I am here today as a child of hardworking and loving Mexican immigrants. For over 6 months now, the people of Grand Rapids have come to this commission with the same 6 sanctuary policy demands made tonight. So far, all we received in return are excuses. The truth is that these policies are the bare minimum that should be accepted when it comes to making this city safe for immigrants. The commission's failure to meet even these demands shows that they're part of the same capitalist system as GRPD and ICE, who have been terrorizing immigrant families and repressing members of Rapid Response. But I'm not discouraged, because history shows us that right here, among these working class people of Grand Rapids, we got all the power we need to change the city. In 2006, it was the organized masses of immigrant workers across this country who defeated the racist Sensenbrenner bill, not the politicians. In 2007, it was the 4,000 community members in Waukegan, Illinois, who marched on their city that won the end to their 287 programs in their city, not their city officials. If they can do it in Waukegan, we can do it here. After all, in 2019, it was a combined effort of the people of Grand Rapids, Cosecha, and Rapid Response that won historic victories, ending local law enforcement contracts with ICE, not City Commission. Real change comes from organized people power, the power of taking our protection and our liberation into our own hands. And that's what Rapid Response members who were unjustly arrested were doing, and that's what we need right now more than ever. Whether this commission gets into our demands or not, there's a next step for every single one of us to take. It may be coming to a Rapid Response training or getting your family or your friends involved. If you're not in an organization, join one. There's Rapid Response, Cosecha, PSL, and so many more. On our own, we are easily divided and made to feel hopeless. But when we come together in organization and stand united, we can become a force that can't be ignored. A force that can pressure the city until our demands are met. Remember, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amelia, and I am an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a multinational organization that fights for the liberation of all oppressed people. Last week, 2 members of Grand Rapids Rapid Response to ICE were arrested by Grand Rapids Police Department. These individuals were arrested not for committing a crime, but for holding ICE accountable and recording them. These arrests remind me of the arrests of community members protesting for justice after the murder of Patrick Leoya. For the last 3 years, we have been demanding that this city hold its police accountable, the bare minimum. This city's response has been their arrests. It's the exact same response as community members of Rapid Response got: repression and violence. The fight against police brutality and the fight against deportations of our immigrant neighbors are the same. We are fighting against a system that sees working class people as disposable. The people protesting for justice for Patrick Leoya and the people defending immigrants are fighting to end the oppression of working class community of Grand Rapids. Both struggles were met with intimidation and violent repression by the city. So I am done talking to this city. This system proposes no solution for the oppression it creates. Real change can only come from us getting organized, fighting back against this rotten capitalist system, and building a system that is actually rooted in our humanity, where the people are in power. These struggles fight with the same goal: to end oppression of the worker class members of Grand Rapids community. And both struggles have been met with oppression and violence. So today, I speak to you, the workers of Grand Rapids. We are the true power of Grand Rapids. It wasn't Chris Becker who decided to prosecute the murder of Christopher Scher, but the organized black community that demanded prosecution for this murder. When I look at the power of Grand Rapids, it is up here with these committee members. It is with you, the workers, the real people of this city.
Excuse me, the protocol is you're meant to be addressing us.
Okay, I'll address you then.
Great.
The real problem, the real power is with them. If you all were to stop showing up for work for the next week, this city wouldn't know. But if for 1 hour, all the workers of this city didn't show up, this city would fall apart in a second. The city council members have no power. It is all with the people here. And the people united will never be defeated.
If you could refrain from applause, folks. We're trying to respect everyone here and have this be a safe space.
Hi, my name is Pablo Bello, and I just, well, you probably know already, our community has been, is being terrorized by Trump and his Nazis, his Republican Nazis. People is very afraid of what's going to happen in the next months, years. You know, they're probably going to be taken by ICE. People is afraid. People don't even want to go to the store. They are sending their children because they are afraid they're gonna be arrested by ICE. So the last time you say we can do anything because we're gonna lose funding, right? And that's what I understand, no? But I'm just asking you, like, to protect our community somehow, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're next. You know, there are all these detention centers, like Baldwin. There's a new detention center. They're going to build more. I mean, once all the immigrants are deported, I mean, who knows who's going to be next? Maybe, like, who knows, right? So I would like to know, what are you going to do? Like, I mean, you just listen. Like a few months ago, I came to this meeting, and you say, well, we can do anything. They're going to cut our funding, and but I think that you're working for the people, right? And so I would like to know, what are you going to do? I mean, you just mute and don't say anything. So I guess that's it. I don't know, what can we do? Organize, and then, but you know, we have the federal government against our community. You know, their job is ICE, their job is terrorize our community, arrest people, like, they say, oh, we're gonna arrest criminals, but, oh, we changed our mind, no, we're gonna arrest everyone. And then they arresting citizens, they arresting people with green cars. I think that nobody's safe, so please do something.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Bethany, and I live in Midtown Grand Rapids. And our previous citizen, resident of the community has asked, what will you do? I'm asking you to support the 6 sanctuary city policies that have been put forward by the people of this city, specifically the communities that are being directly terrorized right now. They are the front lines, but we all are less safe in this situation. So I'm asking that you put those 6 policies on the agenda and put them for a vote. Thank you.
My name is Jeff. I live in the 2nd Ward. I want to echo a lot of the comments that people who already spoke to you all about supporting the sanctuary policies that the 6 policies that we've been asking from COSECHA and Rapid Response to ICE. I'm a volunteer organizer with Rapid Response to ICE, and every week we find out that people were taken. Family members contact us and ask to help raise money to bond their family members out, to pay for legal fees, to help them cover the cost of rent, to buy groceries, all those kinds of things, because most of the people who are taken are people who are the primary income earner. So all of a sudden now you have families who don't have much money coming in, and they're really struggling, really hurting, living in a lot of fear, like every day. And then on June 4th, at the ESOP office, which is the Investigations Supervision Appointment program on 545 Michigan, right behind the omelet shop, where people who are in the system have to go check in with ICE on a regular basis to make sure they're following protocol. Many of them wear wrist monitors or ankle monitors, and they all have to use a downloadable app that a subsidiary of the GEO Group provides them, which is also manages that office and also just opened up the Baldwin prison as a detention center. So how convenient for them. They get to make money on all kinds of ends. There were 8 people arrested that day by ICE at the ESOP office. And so we got a call, about 30 of us showed up, and for everybody else who had appointments that day, we let them know that we will stay here and we will non-violently risk arrest if ICE attempts to take them. The GRPD was called because their office is on the 3rd floor, and we went up to the 3rd floor to make sure that people were getting in safe and getting out safe. The GRPD showed up and immediately threatened us with arrest if we didn't leave the building. We said, like, people are afraid. We're just here to accompany them. That's all we're doing, is accompanying people who are scared to death. Everybody got out safely that day because there were 30 of us there. And one thing we know about ICE is they don't like to have attention drawn to them. And we've been doing that every day since then, both at the ESOP office and at the ICE office on Ottawa. That's what we're doing on a daily basis, and we're seeing the pain every day that people are experiencing. So these policies are not some nebulous, theoretical, bureaucratic nonsense. These are actual concrete things they're saying, like, look, because every time the GRPD shows up, they don't show up to accompany and keep people safe who are being terrorized. They're coming to threaten the people who are accompanying folks who are being terrorized. We'd expect the city to do the same kinds of things. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lauren. I am a resident right near MLK Park. I'm a mother of 3, I'm a people manager, and I'm a granddaughter of immigrants and a really concerned citizen. In the last several months, as our country has processed the absolute horrors happening daily under this federal administration, we've watched the cruelty unfold right here in Grand Rapids. Not only are our local activists regularly being targeted and charged for executing their First Amendment rights, I can speak for that myself as a member of GRPD, was arresting an activist while yelling my name at them. So, you know, some oversight there. We also have our immigrant neighbors under attack. We have unidentifiable masked people kidnapping our GR citizens, tax-paying citizens as well. When they're asked to identify themselves, they refuse. I've seen this with my own eyes. As the previous person mentioned, when GRPD showed up to the office off of Michigan Avenue, I was standing on a public sidewalk waiting for one of our immigrant neighbors to come out of their scheduled appointment because they were terrified, and I was harassed by the GRPD and threatened that I would be arrested on a public sidewalk. So, it's our moral obligation to open our eyes and act immediately as a community. I mean, really, really it is. You're seeing history unfold before our eyes. So I'm standing here asking the same things and demanding for the same things that all the rest of us are as a community. Policies that need to be put in place that will minimize the harm that ICE is causing everywhere. We know it's causing harm. We know you can't stop all the harm, but you can put policies in place to protect a lot of the things that are happening that are not falling under due process, that are not being regulated, and that are not being oversight by anybody at all. So we'd like to see the ability of we'd like to see a policy against the ability of state and local police making arrests or detaining individuals on civil immigration warrants. We would like to see policies restricting police or other city workers from asking about immigration status. I want to specifically mention, because this was a little bit of a gray area at the Kent County Commission meeting, but policies prohibiting 287G agreements, which is an additional way that local law enforcement can slide under the radar, making an agreement with ICE offices to enforce immigration duties for anyone that's being held in custody, in a traffic stop, in a jail, checkpoints within our community. I would be remiss if I did not mention that that echoes the people in Palestine currently having checkpoints everywhere they try to go. We want policies that prevent local governments from entering into a contract with the federal government to hold immigrants in detention, transport to detention, and also policies preventing immigration detention centers in Grand Rapids. And don't say it can't happen, because we already have one in Baldwin, Michigan. It's a concentration camp. We demand that policies are there for not allowing GRP to share flock camera images or any other images through surveillance. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. Like I said, we're watching history unfold before our eyes. If you think our local law enforcement is here to protect us, I would like to ask Patrick Luoya's family, Samuel Sterling's family, Breonna Taylor's family, how they feel.
Hello, my name is Austin of the 2nd Ward. This commission is intended to act on the people's behalf regarding this city. Yet, time and again, the same people are all here begging you for the same things: sanctuary status and community control over the GRPD. We continue coming here, meeting after meeting, to demand the exact same things. And every single time, we're given the same excuses and are shut down. It is your job, as our voice within the local governing system, to enact the will of the people, and is this not the will of the people? Is it not what we're asking for? Even so, we keep coming back with no changes and no steps being made in the directions that the people have continued to ask for. Sanctuary status and community control are both very popular amongst people who don't make money or benefit off the system. So I'd like to hear sensible and justifiable reason why these topics aren't being properly addressed. If your priorities don't lie with the people of the city, then you shouldn't have a place on this commission.
Hello, my name is Liz, and I live in Heritage Hill. Today I come before you, like many others here, to ask this commission one simple thing: do your job. Your job entails representing your constituents. Your constituents hired you through their votes to uphold the law. The rule of law is currently under attack by this current presidential administration, and its grip of tyranny and fascism is at our doorstep. And it's not knocking politely for entry, but it has kicked it down and is currently having its way with the citizens of this city. ICE is not law enforcement. They do not produce warrants, state their order of business, arrest criminals, or follow any of the tenements of due process guaranteed in the Constitution. They, however, are the embodiment of a Gestapo that follows out orders for a wannabe tyrant. They have no place in a democratic society. To allow our police even the ability to show up on behalf of ICE amounts to the GRPD as giving favor to fascism. I believe this commission is currently aware of the strained relationship the citizens of this city who employ the police to protect us have with the department. GRPD continues to make no strides to heal or make efforts to be a trusted police force. The damage is already present, and to continue down the path of hostility towards us citizens, including our undocumented neighbors, will most likely lead to a relationship beyond repair. And to use funding or the fear of losing it as an excuse for not making us a sanctuary city shows that you're not concerned about humanity, but the almighty dollar. To even weigh the lives of our immigrant communities against funding that may or not be withheld is nothing short of disgusting. Simply, we want ICE out of our streets, out of our city. We want the harassment to stop towards our immigrant community, who are a positive and impactful part of the fabric of the city. And if you cannot find it in you to vote on behalf of your constituents to make us a sanctuary city, then I ask for your resignation. We will find someone who is willing to do the job that you have signed up for.
Hello, my name is Kaylee. I am a resident of the city. I am here to speak in support of the 6 policies proposed by Cosecha and Grand Rapids Rapid Response. I demand that the City of Grand Rapids adopt sanctuary policies that minimizes the harm that Immigration and Customs Enforcement is doing to the immigrant community, particularly in the wake of the current administration's new legislation, which now bolsters ICE funding federally by $170 billion. By adopting these policies, the City of Grand Rapids would be taking clear and comprehensive steps towards protecting and standing in solidarity with immigrant families. Thus far, the policies in place for GRPD's interactions with federal ICE agents are vague at best and often harmful at worst. Discretion is given only for the officers to decide when to step in if they deem a situation emergent. The policies being proposed would be the bare minimum of a good faith attempt at the city and law enforcement's attempt to stand by their convictions and protect all community members of this city. I ask that you please continue to put these on an agenda and vote for them in the future. Thank you.
I can hear that heavy breathing, and I understand that there's a long line of people to listen to. I'm Michael Thompson. I've been over 30 years in Grand Rapids area. And I want to echo the voices of those who've asked you to support these policies. The one testimony that hit my ear the hardest, I don't know if it hit you or not, was my Latino neighbor who said just simply that his community is terrorized. A few of my African American friends have told me that when they see lights in their mirror, their hearts beat faster based on the history of the police countrywide on race. Multiply that with the sense of, if I'm stopped, I may be ripped from my community, I might lose my job, I might lose my home, I may be detained where people can't find me. This is insane. There has been a lot of work done to increase accountability of police over the decades. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But including having to show identity of yourself as an officer, having camera footage of what you're doing. ICE shows up masked, sometimes in random vehicles, sometimes with the aid of goons for hire. And the criteria seems to be, in some cases, sometimes they have a specific person in mind, that's evident, but other times you just happen to look Latino enough for them. And I don't know how we can sit here and be content with that. I would say, and I'm sure some people would boo this in the room, but some people would say yes, raise my taxes and lose the funding, and let this be a principled city. The word sanctuary came under attack by this government almost on day one, saying that even if immigrants went into churches and synagogues and schools, places that have been recognized as almost sacrosanct, as a place of last resort, where their fates could be negotiated in a process that may resemble fairness, may not, but at least gave them some voice. And that too was sort of said, nope, I'm not going to respect that. So it's no accident that these policies are called sanctuary. It's a matter of conscience. I'm a churchgoer. Some of you are as well. I'm disappointed in the government's relationship to the church on this. I'm disappointed in my own faith community's not no response, but under response. The last thing I'll say in my last few seconds, we need to get ahead of this. This 20-fold increase of money being pumped into this cancer is going to mean that we're going to not be able not to see ice. And if we try to backtrack it when there's 20 times more juice in this system to create sanctuary then good luck to all of us, and God help us, and God bless you.
Hello, my name is Grace Saunders. Crossroads Church is a Ukrainian national church in Grand Rapids. Currently, they are taking care of all of the vital documents for the homeless community. And I have spoke to a Ukrainian soldier online who spends all of his money trying to obtain his mail. And that broke my heart. And so, because I was able to get help from the Ukrainian National Church with my vital documents, and I was able to get a haircut, and I was able to get fed and taken care of, I only see it fitting for me to also come here and say, these people have taken care of us, and they are only spending all of their money on mail, which means they don't get to have anything, and they're already a poor country, and they already help us. So my time here today is to ask for a monthly, they already get monthly checks. I'm asking for a quarterly check. If you use our system and their system and combine it and just look at it as a straight system, then technically they would qualify for quarterly SSI payments since they are on parole from Russia. And so you could stabilize their mail with quarterly checks instead of, so it would be like you get your SSI check, they get around, I think, $200 or something like that. I don't remember the exact amount, but I know that SSI insurance also provides a quarterly check, and that quarterly check is what allows us to have mail always. And so I would ask that the Ukrainian government also be able to get a quarterly check since they are on parole from Russia. That we could use the same system for the same purposes and let them have the donations that people have been donating for years. And now they don't get to have those donations because all of their mail centers are bombed. So that is what I would like to talk to you today about, and I hope you have a good day.
Lucas, First Ward. Did somebody say trash talk? I'm here to support the single hauler initiative. It was weird to move here and find out that that's not how it was already. Tired of seeing all this janky old crap from third parties roll down my neighborhood streets on who knows what day. This also is a solution that will provide better equity to all. It disrupts the shenanigans of so many slumlords who make up the majority of the corporate and private landlords in this city. And the argument about a free market is completely bankrupt because where is your free market competition for fire, police, street design, traffic engineering, running parks? Ignore the misguided arguments and keep pushing forward with all forms of trash equity. Moving on. Ned Andre is one of the finest human beings I've ever met. but I also get along famously bad with Vic and Kim Williams. Wrong is wrong. What kind of a man swings at another man with a woman in the middle? The same kind of man who tries a cheap shot to the nuts and falls down trying. Between GRPD and Ned or Vic, I'm going to assume they're right, and the PD that we have absolutely no reason to trust is wrong. Comply now, complain later is a really cute soundbite, but it holds no value when trust is in the toilet. You may not be able to withdraw the charges, but you can make an impact with letters to the court or order the chief to ask for leniency and so on. We demand an investigation on this incident independently, and not more cops investigating themselves or their buddies from the state doing it, but this would be a great job for true citizen oversight. The last thing I want to cover, because I want to kind of beg for the representation that we've achieved, Commissioner Perdue, there's a rumor going around that you're going to leave this office and run for higher office. And people say that's informed some of your actions and particular speeches here. Some of the progressive among us have taken issue with some of those positions or nuances. I won't speculate, but I will say that it will be grossly disappointing if you were to abandon this critical position for career politics or the pursuit of different power. The last thing we need is another hole opened up for a shady appointment or another vacancy for an old, out-of-touch preacher to fill. So please don't create a vacuum. Please stay for 2 terms. Thank you. Also, Chinga la Migra.
Hello, my name is Emma. I'm here to support what COSECHA and Grand Rapids response to ICE have put down. But I kind of feel like none of you care. If you cared, like those policies would have been enacted from the beginning. If you cared, like Patrick Lyoya's murder wouldn't have happened. If you cared, the response to Patrick Lyoya's murder would be vastly different than criminalizing and continue to overbloat this overfed beast that is the GRPD. If you were worried about money, you would stop putting money into that overfed beast. If you actually cared about humanity, you wouldn't be worried about money. You would be finding these creative solutions. The community is doing your job for you of trying to keep people safe. And we're still out here and we feel helpless. Helpless. To know that somebody is being torn apart from their family, that they're going into a situation of prison that is itself just horrible, that they may be sent back to a country that they escaped from for their lives. Like, that should make you feel something. And it shouldn't just be like oh, I feel something and that's enough. It should make you want to act and fully act and not say, what if somebody gets mad at me about it? What if I lose a little funding? What if this happens? It should be like, how do I get this done? It should be a day and night, how do I get this done? Life and death, those are first priorities. I mean, maybe that's the problem. You just, I don't know how to enter your brains based on the decisions that have been made with this city commission and in the past. I had hope for some of the new members, and then the policies that were enacted about our unhoused neighbors was like, here we are again. No, I don't know how you get to a point where you're that cold. I don't know. It chills me, honestly, to be in front of any of you. It actually, like, I feel it in my body of, like, how can somebody care that little about humanity and have this power and have something you can do about it and just not? So I'm just gonna sit here and look at you in the eyes for a little bit here, because I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, I don't know how you can talk to stone and make it change.
My name is John. David, I was verbally abusive to you. I apologize. ICE is a terrorist organization. Pass these sanctuary policies immediately. Kelsey, Marshall, Alicia Marie, David, you four, team up, pass the policies. Lisa, Mindy, back them up. I have so many things to talk about. On June 14th, Ned Andre and Victor Williams, 2 leaders of the Boston Square Neighborhood Association, were arrested for filming the police while they pointed guns at 3 young black men. The police tried to punch Victor, put his hands on Victor's wife, tased Victor, wrestled the 2 best neighbors in the neighborhood to the ground. Ned, who makes every room he's in safer, was treated like garbage, and yesterday was arraigned for this total garbage BS arrest. Here's what Ned had to say today on Facebook. I had fully intended to attend the city commission night out. It's my ward. I have a lot to contribute. However, I feel so betrayed by the city commission. This is, so you know how Ned feels, betrayed by y'all. By the city commission, it's the police department. Monday, I went to court for my arraignment hearing. I'm forced by the city GRPD to declare I'm not a criminal. The ever-present management, oppression, suppression, repression that the city, county, state, and federal systems imposes on some of its citizens is overwhelming. I'm tired and sad. I ask that other good citizens carry the baton for a while. That was Ned. This is me. Speak out against that arrest. None of you have magic wands, but you have voices. Use them. Speak out. Where do you stand? Be vulnerable. When you see something is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something. I will not be silent. If you can't tell that Israel's treating Palestine the way Nazis treated the Jews, you don't know right from wrong. If you can't tell Donald Trump is treating immigrants the way Hitler treated immigrants, you don't know right from wrong. Pass the sanctuary policies that your people are demanding. Don't decide for yourself what's best for the vulnerable people. Do what the vulnerable people are requesting. I'll help you with the paperwork. Pay for my neighbor's moldy basement. The city's treatment of my neighbors is abusive. If it wasn't literally abusive, I wouldn't say it. The trial of Lakyra Price Sanders starts Monday. She is facing 10 years in prison for using a bullhorn at a protest. The cop is saying she assaulted his eardrum. Lakyra Price Sanders is every bit the hero Rosa Parks is, period. If you don't know who Kai is, then you haven't been on the front lines for Patrick like I have. To say Lakyra Price Sanders is every bit the hero Rosa Parks is, isn't just a stone cold truth. Rosa Parks is honored by everything Lakyra Price Sanders does with her life. Where are the civil rights leaders of today? Kai is one. Follow her, surround her, period. In Grand Rapids, there's no leader further up front than Kai and our Cosecha leaders. Free Palestine, free Kai Price Sanders, justice for Patrick, Samuel, Riley, Hank, and Joey. History will remember those who remain silent and complicit. The time is always right to do the right thing.
Hi, I'm Ren Burns. Sorry I don't sound as loud from up here. I am a resident of this city. I am a parent. I am a teacher. I am on the board of the Institute of Global Education. I have done activist work in the city for multiple solidarity groups, and most of the people that have spoken and the people that are people that I care about. They're people I love, and they are my community. And I say all of that to put things into perspective for you, because David, you and I had a conversation on the street after the end of the trial, where you stood across the street, and I went over there, and I politely invited you to join, and you started to explain to me, as if I needed explaining why you were standing there with 2 plainclothes police officers across the street, instead of engaging with the community and listening to what people who have lost their family members to the Grand Rapids Police Department have experienced. It was a memorial. Then you crossed the street after we had an encounter where I became emotional because of your, frankly, insensitivity to the things I was discussing, which I will not apologize for. But what I wish I had said to you before you came across the street and then proceeded to engage in a press interview, which interrupted the memorializing of the lives lost to the Grand Rapids Police Department's actions, I would call it murder. I wish I had said to you, what kind of relationship do you want to communicate that you want with the people that are standing over there? Because those people are my people, but they're not your people, and you communicated that clearly by where you stood and by how rudely you interrupted. And I feel everything that people have said here. When Emma said that it feels chilling to stand in front of you, I feel that. I ran into you, Yasasi, when you were at something with your child, and I was out and about doing my day-to-day, and a cold chill went throughout my body because you are not a safe person to be around, based on the views that you take about the people in our city and what you think is okay in terms of the way that people around the world that we are financially complicit in should be treated, specifically the people in Gaza and all of the people of Palestine. Kelsey, Ms. Perdue, I appreciate that you are sometimes vocal about the way that you agree or disagree with some of the things that have been brought to you. But all I've heard are your words, and I haven't seen any action. I haven't seen action from anyone. Your staff tonight were insensitive to me and my child, and there's going to be detailed feedback around that I don't have time for today. This is so hard for me to be here, and I don't want to come anymore and have to say these things over and over. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matthew. Me and my dad have been here many times, and you have granted us permission not to say address, so I will just say I'm a third-year member of this great city, and yeah, you have seen you have heard real positive feedback, and real passionate feedback, and I'm here to, as my shirt says, speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves, and just do all you can do to shut down 425 is true. Thank the Lord that 320 was shut down. Now we, according to our inside source, 425 is close to being shut down as well. Thank you, and God bless.
Buenas tardes, necesito traducción, por favor. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Gema y yo he vivido en el área de Grand Rapids por más de 30 años.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Gema y I'm so sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Gema, and I've been living in the city for over 30 years.
He escuchado preguntas tanto de la comunidad inmigrante afectada por el sistema migratorio como del público en general.
I have heard questions from both the immigrant community affected by the immigration system and the general public.
Sobre si realmente es posible que una ciudad sea un santuario.
So it is possible that a city becomes a sanctuary.
Esa es mi perspectiva como activista comunitaria, así que les digo que sí.
That is my perspective as a community activist.
Y más que un título, eso de santuario, las ciudades y condados tienen muchas herramientas para proteger a la comunidad inmigrante indocumentada.
And not only it's just the name of the sanctuary, it's more than that. There's a lot more to do in that aspect. For example, in Los Angeles, the mayor has allocated public funds to support families separated by ICE.
Exacto. Por ejemplo, en la ciudad de Los Ángeles, la alcaldesa ha destinado fondos públicos para apoyar a las familias separadas por ICE. Cuando uno de sus integrantes ha sido secuestrado por este aparato de persecución.
That's right. When one of their loved one has been taken by that system of persecution, in Union City, New Jersey, commissioners anonymously passed a resolution ensuring that the local jail will not be used to detain people for immigration-related matters.
También he escuchado muchas excusas sobre por qué Grand Rapids no debería adoptar políticas santuario.
I also have heard many excuses as to why Grand Rapids shouldn't adopt sanctuary policies.
Una de ellas es que se podría llamar más la atención y poner en riesgo a la comunidad inmigrante.
One of them is that it would draw more attention and put the immigrant community at a greater risk.
Pero yo les digo que por nuestro color de piel y por quienes somos, ya somos el blanco de perfil racial.
But I tell you this, because of our skin color and because of who we are already targets of racial profiling.
Otra excusa común es porque la policía local no puede evitar cooperar con ICE porque deben estar disponibles en caso de emergencias o peligros para estos agentes.
Another common excuse is that local police can't avoid cooperating with ICE because they need to be available in case of an emergency or danger involving ICE agents.
Eso no tiene sentido. Si ICE necesita protección, entonces no deberían de estar haciendo ese trabajo de seguridad nacional y que lleven sus chalecos, armas largas y tácticas de violencia.
That does not make sense. If ICE needs protection, maybe they shouldn't be doing that job. They're the ones showing up with vests, long guns, and violent tactics, not us.
Las políticas que Cosecha está poniendo no son simbólicas, son pasos concretos para demostrar que en esta ciudad también nos ven como parte de su comunidad.
The policies we're asking for are not symbolic. They're concrete steps that shows this city sees us as part of the community too.
Exigimos que la policía de Grand Rapids no coopere con ICE en sus operativos, que no se compartan información personal de sus bases de datos afirmativos o de la tecnología FLAC.
We demand that the Grand Rapids Police Department stops cooperating or assisting ICE in its operations, that it's not share personal information from its admin databases.
Okay. Si no saben lo que pasa después de que ICE secuestra a un miembro de una familia, usualmente quienes son económicamente los que llevan el hogar, yo les voy a explicar.
If you do not know what happens after ICE takes someone from a family, usually the main provider, then let me tell you.
El trauma psicológico, la angustia diaria, el caos logístico, ¿quién va a recoger a los niños en la escuela? ¿Quién cuida a los mayores? ¿Quién paga la renta y la comida? La vida entera de una familia es destruida.
Psychological trauma, daily anxiety, logistic chaos. Who picks up the kids from school? Who cares for the elderly? Who pays rent or buys the food? The entire family, the entire life system of a family is destabilized.
Solo imaginen un momento qué les pasaría si ustedes no están en su hogar. ¿Quién se encargaría de todo eso? Y ni siquiera pueden imaginarlo, entonces quizás no merecen estar ahí sentados como servidores públicos, porque el verdadero servidor público no normaliza el sufrimiento humano, lo enfrenta, lo detiene.
Just imagine for a moment that you disappear from your home. We will do all the things you do, and if you can't even imagine that, then maybe you don't deserve to sit there as public officials, because a true public servant does not normalize human suffering. They face it. They stop it.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Kay, and we've really reached a boiling point in this country where people can no longer, politicians can no longer hide behind a title, a process to look within their own morality and ask yourselves, what would you have been doing in Nazi Germany when Jews were being rounded up? Were you listening to the propaganda against the Jewish people and the criminalization of Jewish people? This is a long time coming. This isn't just like Trump, we woke up and Trump was here. The foundation was laid for this disaster, and now it's in your hands. This is gonna go down in history. There's pictures being taken here. There's live streams being streamed here. This moment will never be forgotten in history because it's in your hands. Every single one of you right now gets to make a decision. Are you going to keep your community safe, or are you gonna continue to make excuses? Because I know cities, every city is just like the next, okay? Whenever there's a project, a philanthropist has a project, all of a sudden there's grants, somebody's writing a grant, somebody's following a process. Do the same for the community, for the people that actually elected you. Find the grants, find the money to stand on business, because I know that's possible. I know that's possible. In a city that has a lot of money, in a city that is affluent, this is what matters more. Okay, so it really is in your hands right now that you can make history right now and set the foundation for other cities. I come from Kalamazoo, okay, and we are demanding them to denounce the 287G agreement, okay, because it's not a matter of if ICE is gonna come, it's a matter of when. When we're gonna see the same disaster, atrocity in Kalamazoo like Grand Rapids. It's unimaginable. Like people getting picked up by ICE in Grand Rapids, it's lawless. What has the city turned into? And it's in your hands. And no matter what the excuses you make, lives are being affected every day. As you sit here and you think about your careers as politicians, the way that this is gonna maybe negatively affect you, this is already negatively affecting you because it's your duty to protect the people. It's your duty to do what is right. Regardless of whoever's in your ear, all the Trump supporters and higher powers, all these rich philanthropists, all these people who believe that we're a bunch of criminals, just like Trump says, like, yeah, you guys need to stop listening to the people in power and start listening to the people right here, because these people elected you, and it's going to be in your conscience.
Hi, my name is Shona. This city needs to realize that this commission is the ones that are supposed to stand up for them, but they can't trust people that are allowing these harms to happen to their own citizens in this community. They deserve better. It's history repeating itself. Us, people of color, are asking to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself. Look back. Who stood up for us back then? Dr. MLK, Malcolm X. There was many people that stood up and made sure that blacks weren't slaves, that we had equal rights, and made sure that we had a seat at the table in many things. But what is happening now? Because they're an immigrant, they're from a different country, they don't matter. They do matter. They make sure things run in this country. They make sure that children are taken care of. They are doing basic things or beyond that. This commission needs to stand together and make sure that they're safe. ICE is just another thing of the KKK. So is the police. Why are we allowing the police to murder our black and brown women, men, children? Why are you not holding them accountable? Imagine if that was your children, your family, you being separated from them being taken or moved to a different country and you never get to see them. Us as people of color, we've seen this for hundreds of years. Why are we letting it repeat? That is something that shouldn't be repeated. We should have learned from it a long time ago. Even under this current administration, it's just out in the open now. It's been happening for years under many different administrations, but Trump is just bold enough to put it out there. And we need y'all as elected officials to hold them accountable and make sure it doesn't happen in your city. I'm from Kalamazoo, and I'm doing the same thing in my city. And once again, we have a David as our mayor that is trash and doesn't care about black and brown. Black and brown people deserve a space in this country. So does our immigrants. Hold your counterparts accountable. Do better.
Hello, my name's Charlie Snedeker, lifelong resident of the Grand Rapids area. Tonight, and for years before tonight, for 3 minutes at a time, citizens have come to this body to share our concerns and ask for actions to protect our most vulnerable citizens. We voted for you. We didn't vote for the police union. We didn't vote for the Chamber of Commerce. We voted for you to represent the people of the city of Grand Rapids. And at this time in our city, when socioeconomic disparity is at historical levels, there's an act of terror that's occurring. And the people in this city are scared and they're suffering. Our neighbors are being abducted by an extrajudicial force, and sincerely, you have an obligation to do something. The city of Grand Rapids should not be complicit in the extraneous constitutional actions that are being taken against the brown people of our city. They're human beings, and you have the power to limit city resources that are being utilized in this way. Now, you need to have the courage to act. You need to remember that the fact that you have been elected to serve this community, that you need to do the right thing. Change has to happen, and changes have begun, and changes will continue in some form. Changes can and do start with modest acts of courage. Courage at the local level. Courage, civic responsibility, and moral obligation. Here, tonight, the city of Grand Rapids, you must confront the chaos of ICE. As was said earlier, wrong is wrong. Give Grand Rapids sanctuary status. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Eldine Chausevich, and I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm a student at Grand Rapids Community College, currently studying political science. I'm here today to voice my strong support for Grand Rapids becoming a sanctuary city. This issue is personal to me. My family came to this country as refugees, seeking safety, dignity, and a chance to build a better life. We found that here in Michigan and in Grand Rapids. But that sense of safety is not guaranteed for everyone. Across the country, immigrants and refugees are being targeted by unjust policies that separate families, criminalize survival, and sow fear in our communities. A sanctuary city policy sends a powerful message that Grand Rapids stands for compassion, not criminalization, for dignity, not detention, and for protecting all residents, regardless of where they are born. It means our local resources will not be used to enforce broken federal immigration laws. It means families can go to school, work, or sleep, or seek help without fear. It means choosing justice over fear. We pride ourselves on being a welcoming, forward-thinking city. But being welcoming is not just a slogan, it's a responsibility. That responsibility includes standing up for the undocumented, the displaced, and the most vulnerable among us. By becoming a sanctuary city, Grand Rapids would join dozens of others affirming that immigrants are vital members of our community, not threats. You would be telling young people like me that our city doesn't just tolerate us, it protects us, values us, and stands with us. I urge you to take bold action and adopt a formal sanctuary city policy. It's the right thing to do. It's the humane thing to do, and it's what leadership in times of uncertainty truly looks like. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Indigo Umler. My family lives here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I am a student at the University of Michigan studying political science and public health. I brought my friend Aldine here with me today because he is in a very unique position. I feel like one thing we need to remember is that so many of these policies specifically target Black and brown people in our community here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. His family is white and was fortunate enough to be able to come to the States and be able to get citizenship in a way that was clear and accessible to them. One thing we need to remember is that these policies here, ICE, targets Black and brown people the most. We know this, we've seen this time and time and time again. So I want to echo the demands that have already been discussed for over an hour here today, as Grand Rapids works towards hopefully being a sanctuary city, providing a safe place for immigrants of all backgrounds. Furthermore, I also want to add that we can't forget that ICE has already been overstepping their jurisdiction. As a student and a student activist at University of Michigan, of all universities, I've seen time and time again students and faculty being arrested and intimidated by ICE just for standing up for unpopular policies. We have already seen how ICE has abused their position, and we cannot allow them to continue doing this. Grand Rapids Police must not cooperate with ICE as it has been doing. And I want to end this off with a reminder that we don't work for you, you work for us. It is an honor to be a public servant. And as a student of political science who has had the fortune to be studying political science since the age of 15, I know that very intimately. So few people have the privileges that I do to be studying political science, but it doesn't take a genius, it doesn't take a politician to know that what's happening now is wrong. So I want to reiterate my support for the 6 demands that have been brought to you by the community here today. And I want to leave you with a question. Is this the world we want to bring our youth up in? Is this the world we want to leave for our coming generation? As an 18-year-old, I shouldn't have to be here today speaking in front of so many adults with so much power that have been implored time and time again to do the right thing. Do the right thing. It's not hard. You work for us. Don't forget that. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Bob Wood. Excuse me. I think it's really impressive to listen to all of these people here. Just to hear the anger, the hurt, the personal stories. This is what democracy is. And so I really commend people that have been here tonight and that are talking. And people that are here supporting. I think it's important. I get angry with what's happening in the United States, but I think I get sad more than anything else because I look at just how ugly and vile and dangerous our government has become to citizens. I'm currently, for the last 3 years, I teach American government in Lviv, Ukraine at Ukrainian Catholic University. And I have students who were there, were in the East, were in the Donbass, they were in Zaporizhia, they were in Luhansk in 22 in the spring when the Russians came in. In the stories that they tell me about the brutality and the masks and the disgusting treatment of human beings sounds exactly like what's happening in our country to our immigrant population. The same thing, the same kind of stories. And it hurts when I hear them say that, and it hurts when I hear people here say that. But the difference is we have a Constitution, you know? The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution ensures due process for all persons. Persons, not citizens, persons. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution incorporates the Fifth Amendment and makes it part of the state government so that all persons are afforded due process by their state and by their city and its persons. We're talking about in the Constitution of the United States, in the Bill of Rights of the United States, in the 14th Amendment of the United States, we're talking about rights for persons. Please stop this country from becoming the Soviet Union, because that's what's happening in Putin's Russia, and that's happening to my friends in eastern Ukraine. It doesn't need to happen in this country. Just follow the Constitution. Just follow the Constitution. Thanks.
Hello, friends. Mark from Grand Rapids. I get that the individuals who spoke before me have their concerns. But my question is this: where was those concerns at in November? You had a chance to go out to the polls and vote it, but you didn't. Y'all just sat on the couch, and this is what we have now. I knew that once the orange felon got in, this stuff was going to happen. Again, we tried to tell you, but y'all didn't listen, and now you're effing around and you're finding out. Now there are ICE agents all over the country rounding up people, just like I said, in January, and they're shipping them out. And just over the weekend, a Venezuelan baseball team of 13 and 16-year-olds have been denied entry into the country to play in the senior division of the Little League World Series in South Carolina. And it will happen again at all Little League sites across the country. Now it's too late. The only thing I suggest is, if you see unmarked vehicles with ICE agents, we don't know if they're ICE agents or not. They might be some from hate groups or something. Violent Boys, Patriot Front. Write down license plates, take pictures of license plates, and report them. Because you don't know who these people are, wearing masks and everything. But this is what the orange felon wanted. He wants to make this country white. That is his plan. First it's going to be the immigrants, then it's going to be the black people, then it's going to be the Native Americans. Trust me on that one. He wants to make this country lily white as possible. That's because y'all didn't do what y'all should have done in November. Thank you.
What is there even to say? Damn, I haven't been here in a long time. There's no need for introduction, and I'm a human of this planet. Who cares about other humans? Sanctuary City, that label is crumbs. It's the bare minimum of what you can do to tell your people that you're standing beside them. I'm so confused why you all believe that the fear, and also let me just point out, your attentiveness, amazing. You've listened and I appreciate that. But y'all are so willing to say, well, we might lose money if we become a sanctuary city, or we might become a target if we become a sanctuary city. Like dollars over human life? You know I'm about to be hiding Mexicans in my basement, in my attic. Y'all know that's what we're coming up against. Isasi, these are your people. And y'all know that it's even beyond brown people, because what, Rosie O'Donnell was just threatened of her citizenship being taken? Are y'all not? Am I living in the same plane as y'all? Like, this sanctuary city request is fucking crumbs. Are you standing with your people or are you not? That's literally it. Your people are asking for you to stand with them. Chicago didn't hesitate, and y'all want to be Chicago so bad you took their fucking police chief. Right, so, and Chicago didn't hesitate. Chicago mayor got up there and was like, listen, you ain't touching our kids, you ain't touching our people, because our community and our economy relies on those people. So I'm confused why we, months later, what? I seen y'all in the last community situation, and that was a discussion. Why is this still a discussion? Do you stand with your people or do you not? Are you going to stand with true Americans when everything goes up in flames because this president is about to burn us down? No, you're not. You're going to be seeking people like me to save your asses. And guess what? I will. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm doing the work. Hopefully I'm not in jail. Hopefully I'm not in prison. Right? Hopefully I'm not there and I can help you. Because you ain't fucking helping me. Or anybody else.
Folks, please refrain from clapping.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. I'm here today not to ask, but to demand that you take immediate, bold, and transformative action for justice in our city. It's been far too long. First, I demand that Grand Rapids become a sanctuary city. Our immigrant and undocumented neighbors deserve safety, dignity, and the right to live without fear. Yet time and time again, this city has turned a blind eye while GRPD works hand in hand with ICE, tearing families apart. I don't know how you think that that's okay. Why do you keep giving so much power to GRPD? What do we get from that? They've already shown time and time again that we are over-policed. David LeGrand, I look at you at the last meeting, you touched on the county commission. You ran on promises of reform and change, but yet your leadership has been passive where it needs to be bold. You have the power to lead on police accountability and to end over-policing in our neighborhoods. Use it and step up. Be about what you talk about, because we have yet to see it. The smirk proves everything that I say. I also demand that all the charges be immediately dropped against Ned, Andre, and Kai. I know that's something to think about, but seriously, they are two amazing community members, targeted for their courage, for their commitment to justice, and for standing up against systematic oppression. You want peace? Then stop criminalizing those who fight for it, because we're tired. I would also like to talk about Patrick Leoya, Samuel Sterling, and Riley Doggett. 3 lives stolen by violent policing and systematic neglect. Let the city never forget their names. Let their stories stand as a reminder of the cost of inaction, the pain of silence, and the urgency of change. Christopher Scher is a murderer. Let us never forget that. We need to be a sanctuary city. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Either we make it happen, or you're going to see the consequences coming from your abolitionists in this city. I guarantee that. We're tired. We're fed up. We've been coming up here for 5 years plus years. Jeff, 30 years? I don't even know. We are tired. Something needs to be done. Either you hear us or you don't. You can look dead at the ground, Mayor LeGrand. You can keep your smirk, Mark Washington. We see it all. Please take us seriously. We've had enough. Because there will be consequences. You work for us. Someone said that, right? Justice for Patrick Lyoya. May you never forget his name. Riley Doggett. Don't you ever forget his name. Samuel Sterling. One last thing. Christopher Scher is a fucking murderer.
Hello. So many people have spoken against ICE and demanded for this city to implement sanctuary policies. But what is this city doing? What are you guys doing? Families are being torn apart. As an immigrant, the fear is real. This is real life for so many of our neighbors. ICE doesn't need a warrant to tear families apart. They don't answer to us, but we let them operate in our communities like they do. In this city, ICE operates with the help of local resources, the police, our data, even our silence. We're here today because our city has a choice. Do we protect the people who live, work, and love here, or do we help ICE do their job for them? Adopt sanctuary policies and local collaboration with ICE. We can't call ourselves a welcoming city while we are handling our neighbors over to deportation. This commission has the power to change that. Grand Rapids should not be complicit in deportations. Again, Grand Rapids.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Please return to order. I would remind you this is a public meeting. You're out of order. I'm going to ask you to cease. If you're not, your conduct's disrupting this meeting. You're committing a breach of the peace. I'm asking you to leave the meeting. Okay, your conduct has disrupted the meeting. You've been directed to leave the meeting. I'm directing you to leave government property. If you don't comply, I'll have to ask security to ask you to leave. Okay, I would ask security to escort these folks from the building. I'd ask security to come and escort these folks who are disrupting the meeting from the meeting. Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting. What? Recess the meeting. Recess. We'll recess our meeting. Thank you for your patience.
Hello, I am here today to add my voice to the many who came before me who have urged you to adopt the 6 policies advocated by COSECHA in rapid response. I would also like to add an additional request to you in your capacity as private citizens. Forgive me, I originally wrote this 2 months ago before the canceled city council meeting after we saw a plethora of ISAP raids and offices, and I'm going to address that. Mr. Mayor, the last time I was here, you said very clearly that a U.S. passport is not required to be a citizen of this city, that all residents, regardless of documentation status, are your constituents and your responsibility. I trust that you believe that. I believe you when you say that that's your motivation. I am not here to question your motives and your beliefs, but I want to know what actions you are prepared to take in support of those beliefs. You have just had quite a few people escorted out for advocating and for showing their beliefs with their actions. So I did write this before that happened, but see how that goes. I was raised in the Christian church where I was taught that faith without works is dead. So I want to know, what are your works? I think you actually attend church, the same church that my parents do now. So you have seen in the national news, and by now this is old news, that ICE has adopted a new tactic of calling people in for unscheduled ISAP appointments and then detaining them at those appointments. So these are people who are following the rules, who are applying for documentation, who are applying for refugee status, etc., and they have been told you have to show up at this time. They go to those appointments, and ICE was using that to trap them and detain them and deport them. This happened to people in your city. It was not reported at the time in the news because even though Rapid Response and COSECHA called, I believe it was Channel 13 and Channel 8, they declined to report on the story until they heard from the undocumented members who were affected, who are understandably operating in a position of fear as of right now. In more than one instance, Rapid Response has witnessed ICE agents not allowing detained people to say goodbye to their family who were waiting just yards away in the waiting room. Now, the only reason that we know that these things are happening is because of the work of COSECHA in rapid response to ICE. Concerned citizens who don't want their neighbors to be disappeared have mobilized here to at the very least ensure that our neighbors are not taken under the cover of darkness, with their families left without answers and without resources. We cannot stop them from being taken. You understand, nobody is fighting ICE agents. Nobody can stop our neighbors from being taken. All we can do is bear witness. There was one volunteer who described our work as that of a hospice chaplain. We can't cure the cancer. All we can do is hold your hand while it comes for you. ICE and the contractors they use don't even like that we're doing that. They have threatened rapid response volunteers with arrest for even being near the property, even sitting at the restaurant outside. And just last week, of course, they arrested 2 of our volunteers. This does not make our city safer. I'm running out of time. Essentially, there's a lot more here that I could say about what I have seen, what I observed. I would urge you to please come down to these appointments and see what is being done to your constituents and why there are people who are willing to be arrested here today in demonstrating to you the urgency of the matter and in demonstrating the seriousness of what is happening to your constituents. We cannot stop them. If GRPD tells us to leave, we have to do so or be arrested. I am curious how they would react if the mayor were to come to an ISAP appointment and just watch and just witness and just see. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor LeGrand, City Manager Washington, and Commissioners. Greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Daniel Scott. What my real identity is, I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. This is one reason why I pray for you every day for what happened here tonight. I know your calling is not easy. But I'm here once again to speak up for the most vulnerable, abused citizens of our city, and that is the unborn. Heard a lot about Sanctuary City tonight. Wouldn't it be great if Grand Rapids was a sanctuary city for the unborn? It's getting closer. 320 East Fulton has been closed down. 425 East Cherry I hear from inside sources, is about to be closed down. They've lost money from the federal government, and now private donors are withdrawing their money. That means babies are being saved in Grand Rapids. In fact, Jordan Sweezer has an active ministry, and they've recorded 118 Grand Rapids baby citizens being saved in the last few years. That is something to praise the Lord for. There are no murder factories now in Jackson, Marquette, Petoskey. The whole of the Upper Peninsula now has no murder factories like 425 East Cherry. One other reason for 425 East Cherry to be shut down, they have now been using taxpayer money to give to 16-year-old girls and younger without parental consent, without a doctor, over the phone, transition drugs, mutilating them for the rest of their lives. That is another reason to close down 425 East Cherry. If and when it does, you will see a whole new joy and peace in this city, because God Almighty says, if you sow violence, you reap violence. If you can do all you can to stop babies being torn apart in and outside of their mother's womb now, as my t-shirt depicts, then Grand Rapids will be a much better city. I'll keep praying for you. Any special requests, let me know.
Hello, I am Romar Morales from the First Ward. I must apologize that I'm still learning the intricacies and the current policies and events of the various different figures in our community. I like to think of myself as the average citizen, and I think the average citizen is trying to stay informed, but I've only recently been able to have enough time to put into trying to be informed, to try to be active in my community. Most of my time is spent before this working to pay for food, rent, and then the rest of my time is spent with my family and friends, and only recently have I gotten into the maturity of thinking greater, thinking for my community. I think there is a lack of platform, or at least the outreach to get the platforms that exist to everyone in an easy manner, where those who are living busy lives can keep up to date with what is happening. I think one of the things we've experienced earlier tonight was a lot of people not feeling that they're being heard, or feeling that the speeches, the words that from individuals like you that we've elected or look up to in our communities aren't at the same level of worry that they feel that they're having. What I do know is that my own worries are looking at the news that's happening in the globe, national news, and I've been trying to keep up to date with local news, especially the city, and learning about the construction of these detainment centers, learning about the focuses that are bringing videos of ICE doing very worrying actions to my community members. I'm trying to discern what we're doing about that and where we stand. I want to thank you for letting me come up here with my worries and trying to catch my feet and learn about what it means to be involved. I just wish it was easier before now, whether on an individual side of myself or more outreach. Thank you.
So I'm Gloria with Grand Rapids Climate Coalition, but at first I'm speaking for myself. Listening to all these people, and we all know what's going on in this country. And somebody said Nazism. To me, it's a crossroad between that and the Ku Klux Klan, because the uniform now for the Ku Klux Klan is the military outfit, totally wrapped up. Just put a damn white sheet over them, because that's what's going on, and it is painful if you've read or been any part of history what is going on. So I applaud these people that stood up, and I am so proud of the people that are out there and got in good trouble. That's what John Lewis, we just celebrated that last week. And if you don't know about his history, anybody in this room, come and talk to me. I'll give you a damn book and I'll give you a short lecture. So thank you, all these citizens, for getting in good trouble. Now, for the Grand Rapids Climate Coalition, I was at Pleasant Peninsula, their event this weekend, great event, and we talked about the cap. And people filled out postcards in support of the cap. And so, I have some all for you. And first, but I also want to say, you know, we recognize that this is going to be a cost to the business and Chamber of Commerce, and businesses, building businesses, know this is going to cost money. Yes, we also know that, but we can do both things. We can work together, which is what the CAP is doing. So this is from your citizens. I divided them up in wards. There's some for
Seeing no further public comment, that brings us to comments from my colleagues, I believe. I'm looking for my schedule here. Yes. So, Commissioner Sassi?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for those who came out, those who left, those who stayed. You know, I think there were a number of comments today, not only at the 7 o'clock hour, but beforehand. Talked to a number of individuals about a variety of things that were happening in their own homes, in their own neighborhoods. But feel compelled to speak about the number of pieces that we heard regarding sanctuary cities. And I wanted to repeat what I heard to make sure I heard correctly. One, to make sure that our state, well, and I would say local police cannot detain individuals for immigration status because we're the local authority. Policy regarding about asking about immigration status, that we wouldn't allow ICE to deputize our officers, that we would not hold contracts to jail or to transport individuals, no detention center here in Grand Rapids, and no use associated with the flock cameras. And when I look at these things, I think about the policies that we have here. We had an update today from our police department, and because the presentation today was about hard and heroic history, and I think that is the same with with the issues around immigration as well. Many of you know the situation in 2018 regarding Marine veteran, Mr. Gilmore Ramos Gomez, and to take action. That was very early in your career here, city manager, responding to a process that should have never happened and that ultimately resulted in a legal process that was taken forth by a commission that isn't sitting here anymore. And so I think we dealt with those issues at the time, not knowing what was going to happen on this federal landscape. And so when I hear these things and then there's not an opportunity to talk more, I think that's the missing piece right now, at least for me. And I wish that that wasn't the case. I think people can disagree. There are things said about individuals. I'm not going to get into that. Every single person on this commission, both appointed and elected, we all don't agree all the time. And sometimes there's a little bit of back and forth. But I know that every single person on this commission does care, does think. Maybe the way that we process it or the way that we present it or the way we talk about it might not be the same way that somebody else wants it. But I have a firm belief that every single person on here thinks deeply about what's happening at our state level, our local level, and our national level. I recognize that in all of you. And I hope more people can know that and see that. So when I think about these pieces, I also think about the issue, probably the last item is related to the flock cameras. There was a lot of discussion about that, a lot of back and forth. Thank you, city manager and the chief around that. I think it's, technology is an ever-evolving piece, and we have those protocols and pieces to continue to look at our technology. I think that's probably something that we need to do as a commission overall, understand even more so how AI and these other pieces tie into this work. And so I guess today, I'll echo that. I feel a little sad too, because I think that this commission, this role is like the business of the commission, but there are many opportunities to have conversations. So I hope that happens. My phone number is 616-617-9755. I paste it everywhere. And the last time somebody posted about it, another elected official, I did share that. Why do I share it? And you might think that's very odd, but because I truly would like to be able to talk to individuals and not engage in just sort of the one-way communication that sometimes feels like it happens. So I wanted to share those thoughts, and thank you all for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Robbins?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I know there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings tonight, and appreciate those who stuck around for the long haul here. I do just want to say it's tough sometimes, I think, when one item or topic of conversation dominates the entire public comment period. But I do just want to thank the city staff who all came out hours before we even wrapped up some of our last committees at City Hall to set this night up. I had a great time talking with many of the staff members. I had questions about my own house's water and sewer hookup and all that kind of stuff. So I just don't want to lose sight of the fact that we have some awesome staff member here tonight that can be incredible resources for anybody at any time. So just wanted to make sure that was called out. That's all I got. Have a good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Knight.
Thank you, Mayor. Very interesting. To Commissioner Sasse's point, we have to sit up here and we have to listen. We can't have back and forth dialogue with people that come to share their thoughts and their feelings and their concerns in this space. And I think we have all made ourselves as available as possibly possible for people to have that conversation. I think sometimes when we get into a space of this is how we feel, it's hard for you to hear some truth sometimes, because we have all one side of a story and there may be another side of the story, but I dare suggest that there's three sides, and most times that third side is really the truth. And a lot of times we don't like to hear that truth because it's not as juicy as the other stuff. It doesn't make us feel as good because it's controversial. And so those are conversations that we need to have. I feel like we have to get the most information we have before we address a situation, because things happen in this community where I was like, ooh, that did not look good. And then I had to go back and ask questions from multiple sources to get the whole story. And even though I wanted it to be one way, I couldn't make it be that way because it wasn't all of the facts laid out before us. Now, as it pertains to our community members, our Black and brown sisters, I hurt for them every single day because this is just a return from history, if any of y'all know your history. It's happened. My family has been through that in the past, so we understand that pain, and I don't think anybody disagrees, but it's trying to figure out what's the best way to move forward, because at the end of the day, you know, that leadership starts from the head down, and there's a person who has created this wheel and made all of these things happen. And Mark, I don't think I'd never agree with you, but I'm gonna support you tonight, brother, because you said what you needed to say, right? And so we need to look at all the pieces that are involved in what's happening. Doesn't mean we don't protect our neighbors, no. I'll be happy to go down to that ICE office and sit and watch, because I'm the type of person that wants to see. I wanna see it firsthand. I don't wanna take everybody's word for it, I wanna see it, right? I was in the streets during the marches and when Patrick Lyoya got killed. I was in the streets. There were a lot of us that were out there in the street, but people didn't see it. They didn't see me. And they asked me, where was I at? Oh, I was out in the rain. I was there. But you didn't know me then. Now I got a title, now you know who I am. So don't be so quick to judge what people are not doing when you don't see them. You see us every other Tuesday up here. But I don't think people really look and see what we're doing behind the scenes when no one's looking, when there's no accolades, there's no pats on the back, there's no stars being given or high fives or fist bumps. It's hard, dirty work, and I believe we are in it every single day. I know I am. So I just wanted to share that, and also to add to that, that we are 188 days in.
Thank you. Commissioner Kilgore?
Yeah, thank you everyone so much. Good evening, and thank you for coming. I want to first say thank you to the folks who organized today. And through that, I was thankful for the person who said I was actively listening. I really try my best with that. And while I was really engaged in listening, I thought of the stabbing incident that some folks may have seen out of Traverse City right here in our state. How tragic, and how, what a show of where we are as human beings in this nation. And so as difficult as it is sometimes to maybe sit in the same place or to hear hours of people with their frustrations, I'm very thankful that people with their frustration, with their anger, rather come here than to harm anyone else and to uplift their community that they really want to help. So I'm thankful that we can be an outlet, and it's the least I can do is actively listen to you expressing that frustration. I wish in this nation that we had more avenues to do that, and in a good way that would push us forward, so that people wouldn't get so angry, so frustrated that we have these senseless acts of violence like we saw out of Traverse City. So I really feel for everyone affected there. In terms of supporting our immigrant neighbors, in our first evening meeting, so this would have been January, it was our first 7 p.m. meeting, I put a post up, a statement talking about supporting the foreign nationals policy that I still think is suitable for our city. In addition, not losing sight of this and having this be promising to continue the conversation. And how I'm doing that now is United States Senator Alyssa Slotkin has currently some proposed legislation about face coverings for ICE agents, supporting that, working with her office, in addition to a bill introduced today by Michigan State Representative Kofia, that's House Bill 4760, regarding this at the state level. So I have been deeply engaged in this issue, both at the local level, state level, and federal level, and not losing sight of this issue, of this concern of protecting our immigrant community. In addition, I've got just a few more things here, since this is our only time to give comment as commissioners tonight. I also am very thankful for the folks who wrote us messages in support of the Climate Action Adaptation Plan. We've got a lot of work to do here. I think some of the frustration may be from the heat. We are experiencing extreme heat like we did not used to in this state. As someone who has done environmental advocacy for the past few years and continue to do that in my professional life, I would not pass a plan that's going to cause undue stress to our business community, our small business owners. This plan will only help our business community, the housing community. First, we have to talk about people, right? If we have people who are experiencing extreme weather, cannot find refuge from the extreme weather events, there will be no one to frequent businesses, to buy homes. We have to, as leaders, take this concern of climate change head on. And so I'm looking forward to voting yes on August 12th on the Climate Action Adaptation Plan. And if I'm thankful for the folks who also spoke to us that's in our packet about reviewing this plan, and would like them to know that that is the next steps for the Office of Sustainability, to talk about financial implications, to talk about what this looks like for the housing community, for the business community. And I'll say this, the CAP plan, no one's going to get in trouble, no one's going to get arrested if they don't go along with these suggestions. This is like your doctor telling you to eat better and get more exercise. He's been telling you that for years probably. You've never been arrested for that, you've never gotten in trouble for that, but life has gotten harder, and that's exactly where we are. These are recommendations, these are encouragement for us to do bold climate action. We may not have the funding for a significant portion of it, but we need to stand firm in our values to protect our planet. So I'm very happy to support that. In addition, lastly here, I'll be having the third part of my listening tour at Last Mile Cafe next month. I'll be posting that on social media and on my website. So I hope folks will join me if you'd want to continue any of the conversations we've had here tonight. Thank you.
Commissioner Radu.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Respect. Man, I love being in the third ward. I love these commission night outs. I love being in the third ward because we are a lively bunch. We do not hold our tongue. We challenge, and we express our rage, our valid rage. And that was my experience growing up in this community. Rage at injustice, and an urgent call to action to move faster, to do something, to make this community, to make this state and country better. So I relate deeply and just appreciate the spirit of challenge and speaking truth to power, and recognizing the weight of this moment that so many people brought here tonight. It was that rage that pushed me to run for office, not as a politician per se, but as a community leader who wanted to try to make change in this way. And when I've been in this office, I would say, it drove me to run for office, and the idea of running and serving came up a lot tonight. And what I have been told by my support system, namely my therapist, is that 4 for 400 is what she tells me. And she says, Kelsey, no matter how hard you work, your 4 years are not going to fix the 400. But I will do everything that I can in my 4 years to chip away at the effect of the 400. I promise that is what I'm doing, and that is what I'll continue to do. And I came here too with that rage and with that vision. And I will wager that I've probably had the most dissents in a 12-month period than any other commissioner in a long time, because of my commitment to my values and my vision and justice for this city in the confines of this role. And so folks talked about, what is the future like? Regardless of my plans, when I came into this role, I said, I am here focused on what's in front of me, and that's what I will continue to do. And regardless of my plans for the future, we need a strong bench in the city. We need folks like the folks who are here in person today and those who are not and around the city who are willing to raise their hand, do the hard work of campaigning, gathering support, creating alliances, running, getting up here, and making these decisions. And I am willing to help provide insight and support for anybody who is interested in doing that or want to do that, because we need a strong bench throughout this city, both here locally and at all levels of government. So I wanted to start there. And we heard a lot about the call for sanctuary cities tonight. And I think we first had this conversation in January, maybe February. And over the last several months, as I have watched how things have unraveled, I am approaching this issue very differently. Someone mentioned tonight that we need to protect due process. And when I look at what's happening around this country in terms of practice and rhetoric and racial profiling and not giving people, documented or undocumented, their right to due process, I am horrified. And I think earlier this year, this commission voted in our legislative agenda to add that we would oppose any unconstitutional acts. And so I think that it is time for us to reopen this conversation around sanctuary city status based on that and based on what we've heard today, and continue to also more aggressively prepare for what's ahead of us and how we might respond, given our role as a city, to when we see things happening like that. So just plainly, I want to reopen that conversation. I am willing to reopen that conversation if others are willing to do that here with me on the dais. So I think that speaks a little kind of directly to what we heard tonight. So I'm just going to pivot a little bit and talk and highlight two things that came up today during the engagement session, but also during our voting day. And the first one is that there is a legacy tour being developed in the 3rd Ward, one that highlights the rich history and people that came from this part of town. The Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives was here tonight. They are leading that, and they are asking for people's stories. The tour will highlight everything from the 1967 uprising that happened here in the city, to South High School that has a rich history on the southeast side, to where Al Green used to live, right? Cultural and historical sites is really the aim to highlight and to highlight our legacy. So I wanted to do a plug for that, and if you have stories, if you've been in this community, if you're on the southeast side, please share them. And then lastly, we've been talking for years around housing, the need for housing at all price points, particularly lower price points, and today we took a big step in that in appointing a new board for the land bank. So I'll be talking more about the land bank, that appointment, and a number of other things this Thursday at my Let's Talk 3rd Ward. So that's a briefing that I do online, 30 minutes on a regular basis. It will be this Thursday at 6:30 online. You can sign up, you have to RSVP to get the link. It's a bit.ly/Let's Talk 3rd, or you can go to my social at Purdue for You to find that link and register so we can continue the conversation. But thank you all. I felt the energy in here tonight. I'm so thankful to be here, and I'm thankful that you all are here as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Belcheck.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for hanging in there with us. This is my second commission night out, and it is always, as a commissioner, I should say, it's always an interesting experience. And certainly I've been here in this room very many times as a participant like you. I wish people were able to stay and listen to get to this part of the conversation, because too many times we hear comments, but we don't get the back and forth. And I think some of my colleagues are highlighting that we are available and we try to make ourselves in the community. I just had a community constituent hour in the J-Band Lincoln Park area on Saturday. And so my question to those who came and said that it's like talking to stone up here, I really invite them to come and set up an appointment. Come see me in the office. I will share the view from the 9th floor. I will be in the community. My colleagues are in the community. So if this is the only place you're coming to engage, we're not doing it all the way. And I'm actually heartbroken. I'm heartbroken about the walls that I'm seeing being erected between different elements in our community. I'm heartbroken about seeing the pain and the grief and the frustration and the anger and the ways people are turning inward and telling themselves stories that create more walls. We are in silos when we're not willing to listen and to engage in dialogue. And that's more than what we're able to do in a public comment section, obviously. We are hearing all of the calls, and we are weighing them against all of the other information that we have at our availability, some of which we are not privy to say on a microphone. And we're lucky, how lucky we are to live in a country that still has the First Amendment, where we have a microphone. Any microphone in a public meeting, you can come and say whatever the heck you want, whether it's relevant to what is going on in this meeting or not. It is a platform, it is a microphone, and it is a confined, trapped audience. And I congratulate everyone who has come and used that, because that is what democracy looks like. And yes, it isn't about the people up here at the dais. For those who have come today and been frustrated and said, we're powerless, we're feeling helpless, we're feeling like we can't do it on our own, yeah, I get you. It's why I ran for office. The call to act and act fully, that's why I'm here. That's why many of my colleagues are here. And I challenge anyone who thinks that is not enough is being done to stand up and do what it takes to be in public service. I am not, I repeat, I am not a politician. I take offense at that. I am a person, and I serve people. And that's what this city is. The city isn't, no offense, the city manager. The city isn't all of our staff. The city isn't all of us sitting up here. The city is us living here, breathing here, interacting here, conversing here. So when I see the walls, I'm heartbroken. And the walls go across economic lines, they go across social lines, they go across politics, they go across what we believe as morals and values. So come, talk to me. How do you talk to a stone, you ask? How do you make it change? Be like water. So, I want you to know that I think that everyone here in Grand Rapids deserves the best life possible. I think we all should be safe. I think what ICE is doing is despicable. I think that we are in a federal crisis. And I think that we have a fantastic city that's doing a lot. And I really would like everyone who has questions about our policies to come and let's have a real talk and tell me where in these policies we're not meeting these 6 expectations. Because I really believe that we are meeting 95% of it, if not more. Now, do we have work to do in our culture? Yes, we have work to do. And I'd like to think that we're starting those conversations. We had some really great conversations, both at Public Safety Committee today and during our Committee of the Whole. We live in a city with distributed power. I really hope that the people who are not here, who stood up and had their moment to disrupt this meeting and make their activism known, to know that there are other ways to act, and that includes having the real conversation about what's missing. It's not about a title. It's about what we're doing or not doing. And I have some questions that I would like to follow up on personally. And I'm not 100% comfortable with all the stories that I'm hearing in the community, especially with regard to some of our GRPD and how ICE might be calling trespassing and things. But these are conversations that need to continue and then more information be brought forward. So be like water. That means constant, that means flowing, that means flexible, that means life-giving, and we are going to erode the stones and the walls together. That's my belief, and that's why I'm up here. And that includes all the issues we're looking at, from housing to public transportation, to the climate action plan, to how do we live together and be kind and loving and also safe. So thank you for everyone who put up with all of this and been here today with us. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to approval of the last prior meeting minutes. Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. Comments from City Clerk?
Yeah, just real briefly, there's going to be a November 4th special election. Kent Intermediate School District is putting on a millage vote, so there will be a citywide election. And if you're the 2 voters in Godwin Heights schools, there'll be a vote for those 2 as well. And then also, thank you to all the staff who, I mean, it's been mentioned that putting on Commission Night Out is a large team that works really hard to pull this off. And you know, as they said, I think some of the team got here at noon today to get this ready. And so there's a large amount of city employees today. And then I'm thankful to Grand Rapids Public Schools for hosting it. I appreciate the partnership we have had over the years, whether it's holding Commission Night Out, holding elections, having community hearing sessions, as we went through the master plan, for them to open their doors for these spaces that we don't have as the city and as facilities. So that continued partnership of working together to provide the spaces for these forums. So thank you to Grand Rapids Public Schools and for the staff that is staying late as well to as we go through this evening. So thank you to all that participated to get us here.
City Attorney? City Manager?
Real briefly, I echo those thanks. In the essence of time, it's 9:30 and we have not taken any of our official business up. We did have a public safety briefing today at the committee as well as the committee of a whole, and none of these matters regarding sanctuary status came up as policy discussions with the police chief briefing today. So if this is something to be discussed, it needs to encourage us to use our public safety committee or even at the next briefing of the committee of the whole. I also want to again thank the staff who has prepared for this community night out. We are going to have to rethink these in the future. If it's 9:30, we've had people working since 4:30 and we came early to engage, and even the discussions that we've had here were not part of the early engagement. So we're going to be rethinking that at the next Commission Night Out. I do want to thank the residents in the Third Ward who are here, and those particularly who came out earlier to talk about the concerns with the water main break. I couldn't unfortunately engage in specific conversations, but did commit that would have City Attorney's Office follow up with their legal counsel. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just echo the city manager's thanks to everyone who put this together and those of you who stayed for the conversation, and certainly always looking for ways to make our city better. So thank you all for engaging. That brings us to approval of our minutes. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Support.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Brings us to petitions and communications.
The first one is communication received from Marcel Bergler, Prime Development, expressing opposition to the climate action and adaptation plan.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Sam Cummings and Mike Van Gessel, urging the City Commission to review the climate action and adaptation plan for alignment with housing and population growth goals.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Hannah Greening, Fancy Real Estate founder, expressing support for the climate action and adaptation plan.
Received and filed.
Communication received from Charlie Holtz, expressing concerns regarding the climate action and adaptation plan.
Received and filed.
Reports to city officers. The first one is Comptroller's warrant report for the period of July 1, 2025 through July 14, 2025, the amount of $53,395,739.15.
Received and filed.
And the Treasurer's report for the period of July 1, 2025 through July 15, 2025.
Received and filed. That brings us to our consent agenda, which is items that passed out of committee unanimously earlier in the day. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that brings us to the two items which are off consent. Commissioner Yasasi, if you want to introduce the first one. This is the resolution for an MDOT agreement, an agreement with MDOT and expenditures for sidewalks over in the Plymouth chunk of Fulton Street for $640,000.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this item was in our Community Development Committee. This is off of consent due to an abstention. Just a quick overview, this project consists of sidewalk improvements on the north side of Fulton Street between Plymouth Avenue and Worcester Drive. Currently, there's only a sidewalk on the south side of Fulton Street from Plymouth Avenue to Woodward. There are a variety of pieces included in this work, but it includes the construction of ADA-compliant sidewalks and ramps. It also will improve public safety, pedestrian safety, and aligns with the Zero Vision initiatives that are identified in our strategic plan. And construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of 2026 and to be completed by the middle of that year in July of 26. Thank you.
Thank you, and I don't want to put words in Commissioner Belchick's mouth, but she abstained this morning, and my understanding was you wanted more information about the project, and now you're satisfied? Are you ready to vote?
I have received the information that I needed. I had a in-depth conversation with our engineer, and I feel comfortable with moving ahead.
Okay. I would ask for a vote then, unless there's further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Brings us to our second item. Can I have a motion for a resolution modifying the governance of the Grand Rapids Land Bank Authority Board and shifting that to, rescinding appointment of the Grand Rapids Brownfield Authority Board as the board of the Grand Rapids Land Bank Authority?
So moved.
Sorry, Commissioner Sassi.
Thank you, Mayor. This item, as we all know, we've been talking since the beginning of the year regarding the fact that the Brownfield Board has been serving as the authority, but the desire for this commission to move forward with an independent land bank body. So since June 10th, the intergovernmental agreement with the state of Michigan was amended to allow for that 7-member board versus the Brownfield Board. Today, we moved forward with the appointment of 6 members of the body, with the mayor as the chair of the body. I'll also note that this has been discussed extensively with our Brownfield Authority Board and are aware, and there is 1 member who will be joining from the Brownfield Authority Board to the land bank body for continuity. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Knight, you were the dissenting vote this morning. Do you want to say anything at this point?
Say that again. I can't.
Do you want to speak to this?
No.
Okay. Then I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that brings us to ordinances to be adopted.
First one is an ordinance amending section 5.2.05, lot and yard requirements, and 5.3.06, non-conforming site elements of zoning ordinance, chapter 61 of the city code.
Can I have a motion?
Support.
Commissioner Belchick.
So on July 15th, 2025, the City Commission set July 29th today as the date to consider this zoning ordinance text amendments establishing new administrative departures regarding the placement of basement egress window wells and the replacement of non-conforming front yard parking. We had discussed this previously on March 11th at the City Commission. We had a resolution to set March 25th, 2025 as the date to consider this ordinance, amending several sections. And that included amendments related to the Grand River Overlay District, alternative energy, which were both adopted at that time, but these 2 amendments establishing new administrative departures regarding the placement of these basement egress window wells and the replacement of non-conforming front yard parking were put back to this Planning Commission for further consideration and streamlining of the review process. This has been done, and we are ready to have these before us.
I would like to lead off discussion here. I suggested when this came up last for discussion that I think that subsection 1 of this ordinance is not needed. And I think that it frankly puts discretionary power in a couple poorly defined ways. So the first thing that someone would have to do to get a window well would be to demonstrate, and I don't know how you demonstrate, that no other feasible location, and I don't know what would be feasible, is practical. And those are all sort of words that have a lot of latitude towards them. I think the amendment speaks to itself fairly clearly in all of the other criteria. There's concerns that we make sure that there's adequate fall protection, that there's not erosion of neighboring structures inadvertently, there's clear paths, and there's a clear definition of the minimum setback. So I would make a motion that we amend this proposed ordinance to strike sub 1.
Support.
Any discussion?
You do have Deputy Manager and somebody from the planning department here too, if they,
Okay.
if you want anything.
I'm certainly
Yeah, just
happy to hear
any
from that.
concerns in implementing the amendment?
There you go. Travis has it ordered. You're good.
Can you hear me now? Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. If that section or that line item was struck, we would still be able to apply the additional 4 administrative departure portions of that.
I'm sorry, I know you're a little bit
I'm
tall.
sorry.
Can you speak
Tyler Kent, Assistant Planning Director, City of Grand Rapids. My
And I
apologies.
didn't hear what you said. Can you speak a little bit closer?
With regard to D1, if that was struck, we could still apply the other sections of the code with that administrative departure. The intent is for that these type of cases don't have to go back in front or go in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. We could administrate them through an administrative departure, which is an easier process than that of going in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
And then point of information, Mayor, are we talking 5.2.055D number 1?
Correct.
Correct.
It is demonstrated that no other feasible location is practical.
Correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Vote on my proposed motion then. I believe I had second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Then I think we proceed to voting on the, is there any discussion of the now amended ordinance? Commissioner Usasa.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the information. Thank you for clarifying that information. I know this collectively and city staff have been looking for ways to obviously move things forward. We know that from the inspection process and the approval process. I would ask that we take a look, hopefully in a year's time, and to come back and look at this ordinance. If, since this was presented in a certain way from Planning Commission, we have these bodies, they're intended to be preserved separately. So I voted because I think, sometimes you vote with it, even if it's not, even if you're thinking some way or other. But I think if we could come back and review this piece in a year's time, just to understand if there are any unintended consequences. When I was talking to individuals from our Board of Zoning Appeals, I think there was some consideration regarding the safety and sort of that egress area. But if we could study that, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. All too often, governing bodies pass things and then sort of do a mic drop and don't do iterative look backs, so that's a good idea. Thank you. So any other comments? Then let's vote on the ordinance as amended. All in favor, say, oh, sorry. Oh, right, roll call vote.
Commissioner Asasi?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Belcheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgore?
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand?
Yes.
The second ordinance is an ordinance rezoning the northerly 25.74 feet of 411 Fuller Avenue Southeast to the TN-TBA Traditional Neighborhood, Traditional Business Area Zone District.
Commissioner Purdue?
Thank you. Today, we are considering this request to rezone the previously mentioned parcel piece. This property is located on the west side of Fuller, just south of Wealthy Street. It is 4,350 square feet. The northernmost 19 feet of the parcel is paved surface parking, and that is an extension of the parking lot actually serving 1154 Wealthy as opposed to 411 Fuller. The remainder of the property outside of that 19 feet is unimproved green space. So that northerly portion will be rezoned, and that rezone area includes the paved surface parking and green space. And the rezone area is proposed to be split from the existing parcel, or is planned to be split from the existing parcel and combined with 1154 Wealthy Street, which would then create the new parcel line, the new district boundary with the parcel line.
We have a motion, we had support, correct? Sorry, it's late, guys. So, any discussion? I don't know that we need any input, but thanks. I mean, it was in the packet. So, yep, thank you. All in favor?
No, roll call.
So, roll call vote.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Belcheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgore?
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi?
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand?
Yes. That brings us, pardon?
Oh, go ahead.
That brings us to our next item on the agenda, which is the ordinance for a major amendment to the planned redevelopment district at 221 Trowbridge Northeast.
So moved.
Support.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes, this project occupies the entire west side of Clancy between Trowbridge and Fairbanks, with the exception of the L&L Belknap Market properties at the corner of Fairbanks and Clancy. The project consists of 4 buildings with a combined 66 dwelling units on 1.31 acres. The City Commission adopted an ordinance establishing the planned redevelopment on March 11th. All the changes will take place in the courtyard building at the corner of Clancy and Trowbridge, known as Building 1. On July 15th, the City Commission established July 29th as the date to consider a major amendment to the previously approved Special District Planned Redevelopment District.
Thank you. Any discussion, any need for clarification? Seeing none, City Clerk, if you could call
Commissioner Purdue?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Belcheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgore?
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand?
Yes.
And then finally, an ordinance to adjust the salaries and rates of the compensation of certain employees of the City of Grand Rapids classified in class titles which are within the Grand Rapids Firefighter Union's IAFF Local 366, to adopt a schedule of annual pay ranges for such employees, to provide for adjustments to such pay range, to provide for the adoption of the rules prescribing the method of providing the increases and decreases in compensation within pay ranges established by this ordinance, to provide for the regulation of other personnel matters, and to repeal all other ordinances in conflict herewith, said repeal to become effective as July 1, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
Commissioner Kilgore?
Yes, so to put that out of Latin, that is simply we have approved our contract with our firefighters for the next 3 years. So as they will get a 5% raise effective July 1st, 2025, another 5% raise in July 1st, 2026, and a 1% raise on July 1st, 2027, in addition to providing more time in their work week for rest and respite. Thank you.
To quote Monty Python, there was great rejoicing. Any other comments? Commissioner?
I'll take that out of whatever that language is, but I'll just say thank you. I think this is, I just wanted to highlight from the last contract cycle, this is happening sooner. So I think appreciation to all on the bargaining side, on the city side and on the firefighting side. And so just really glad to see this be here at this point right before August. Thank you.
Thanks. City Clerk, if you could call the vote.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner Belcheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgore?
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue?
Yes.
Mayor LaGrand?
Yes. Can I have a motion for immediate effect?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This brings us to City Commission resolutions.
So we have a resolution scheduling a public hearing for August 12, 2025 to consider approval request of parking count data collection administrative policy 15-03.
Can I have a motion?
Support.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This resolution came before us at our Public Safety Committee earlier this morning. Our mobile GR department will do periodic parking counts as a part of just understanding what the parking needs and capacities are within our community. So they're presenting or proposing using some new technology, namely drones, to help do that in a more efficient and cheap manner, and it does fall under the definition of surveillance equipment under Administrative Policy 1503. So we had a bit of a presentation, a quick discussion. The staff did a good job, I'll say, at proactively addressing some of the concerns about surveillance and privacy and who gets access to the data, how long, so on and so forth. So would encourage anyone to go back and watch that discussion if they have any concerns or questions with that. But then as far as this item, it's just to set a public hearing on that for our meeting at August 12th, coming up next month here.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. And brings us to our last item, which is a public hearing. If poor Ms. Renero is still here, along with all the other long-suffering staff. Ms. Renero, if you could introduce the public hearing for us.
Yes, this is for the Pleasant Hills Phase 3 project. Can you hear me okay? Fun fact, the first and second phase went to CNO last July. So, which is under construction, and we can provide comments if you're interested. But this is the demolition of an existing storage building that is currently occupied by Habitat for Humanity to make way for a 5-story for sale multi-family building with 27 units, 16 of which are expected to be at or below 80% AMI. We have $10.5 million in total project costs, with a pretty substantial commitment to our inclusion plan goals at 30%, in addition to another 10% with professional services. So awesome to see that. This is tapping traditional TIF and also housing TIF. Traditional TIF is about $1 million, and housing TIF is totaled at roughly $1.6 million. For, again, the 16 income qualified units. The development team is here. Andrew from Habitat and Jess Solis from SME are here. We're here to answer questions. There's one more thing I wanted to just mention. There's a couple other layers here. The development team is pursuing state and federal dollars, but the Affordable Housing Fund for fiscal year 26 committed $546,000 in allocation, and also the LBRF, which is the local Brownfield Redevelopment Revolving Fund, committed $250,000 for the 16 units to help with down payment assistance. So that's my bit. What questions do you have?
That was a pretty good summary. Thank you. Any questions, anyone? Commissioner Belichick.
I just want to commend our developers who hung out here today for as long as you have. True dedication, and the dedication to affordable housing, attainable housing, very admirable as well. And I really want to say, I think it's a beautiful design for a space that's long needing some overhaul. So thank you.
Thank you. This being a public hearing, we also welcome any comments from the public who wants to speak to this development.
Before anyone comes up, is this southeast or southwest, the address? Okay.
It was a typo.
It says southeast on the...
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, this hearing is now closed and referred to Committee of the Whole. And that adjourns our meeting.
You see this